Testing. Subpart I, Class 7 radioactive materials. Subpart I, Class 7 radioactive materials. Alright, subpart I, Class 7 radioactive materials. 173.401. Scope the subpart set forth the quantum of the packaging transport class of the radioactive material with the alpha through gate with the subject chapter of the quantum of the prescribed. And this subpart, in addition, not play with the other quantums fourth and subchapter class of the radioactive materials load with the new nuclear reactor commission. Title CFR Part 71 subpart does not apply with the class of any radioactive material produced with the transporter stored within each establishment other than during the course of the transporter, including with the storing and transportation. Class 7 radioactive material that have been implanted with the incorporated that are still within person with a live animal with a diagnostic treatment. Class 7 radioactive material meat with an integral part of the beam with the transportation. Natural meat with the ores of the contained with the normally occurring radioactive nuclides, either in natural state of which have only been processed for the purpose other than the extraction of radionuclides, which are not intended for the process of the radionuclides provided the activity concentration of values specified in 173.430 determined in accordance with the requirements of 173.433. The non-radioactive material subject to the radioactive substance present in any of the substance surface quantity exceeding with the surface threshold and limits set forth in definition contamination 173.403. 173.403 definition for the purpose of this part. As a means of the maximum activity special class 7 radioactive material with the permanent type of A package available with each listed in 173.435 that may be derived in accordance with the procedure described in 173.433. A2 means the activity of the class 7 radioactive material, other special with the material of the LSA and LSA material with the SEO permanent with the type A pack with the values listed in 173.435 derived in accordance with the procedure described in 173.433. Class 7 radioactive material. See the definition of radioactive material in this section. Closed transport vehicles means the transportation vehicle with the conveyance of the equipment that's securely attached with the exterior of the enclosure during the normal transport. Restricted the areas to unauthorized person with the cargo space that contains the radioactive material with the enclosure may either be temporary with the permanent within case the package material with meat with the see-through type that must be limited except for the top side with the bottom. Consignment means for the packaging with the group of the packages loaded with the radioactive material offered with the person for the transport and same shipment. Containment system means the assembly with the component with the packaging intent with the retain with the class 7 radioactive material with during the transportation. Contamination means the presence of the radioactive substance with the quantity except for the 4 BQ centimeter with the beta gamma the emitter with the low toxic alpha the emitter with the 0.04 BQ centimeter with the square all the other alpha meters the 2 of the categories with the fixed contamination means with the contamination that cannot be removed for surface during normal condition with the transportation. Non-fixed contamination means contamination that can be removed with the surface during the normal condition. The transportation conveyance means with any of the transportation public highway, rail, transportation vehicle, large freight container transport, water with any vessels hold with the compartment of divine deck and vessel include any transportation vehicle with on board with the vessel with the transportation aircraft with any of the aircraft with critical safety index. Me with the round number of the round with the next tank with the intent of the U that provide with the control with the accumulation packages over the package over package very container contained with the official material with the CSI with the packaging contained with the official material that is determined in accordance with the instruction provided in 10 CFR 71 22 23 59 the critical safety index are overpacked with the freight container consignment of the conveyance of the contained with the official material of the package with the arithmetic sum of the critical safety and including indices of all the official material of the package contained with the overpack of the freighter container with the consignment of the conveyance. Somebody meet the description of the special class of the radioactive material meet the package of the LSA 3 enable the items fully with identified with the description and may include with the specification energy drawings report showing compliance with the regulated with the requirements of the relevant documentation. Deuterment mean with the purpose of the 173.453 the deuterment any of the deuterment compound include any of the water with the ratio of deuterment atoms to the hydrogen atoms exceeding 1 to 5,000 parts. Exclusive use mean the sold by using single consignment with the conveyance with which all of the internal intermediate final loading unloading shipment air carrier without in accordance with the direction of the consignment with the required subchapter the consignment of the carrier that may ensure the loading of the unloading is performed by a person having the radiological training of the resource with the appropriate with the safe handling with the consignment. The consigner must provide the initial carrier with the specific right when the instruction maintains some of the exclusively the shipment control included with the vehicle survey with the requirements of 173.443. C applicable to include the instruction and shipping with the paper information provided with the carrier by the consigner. Exemption values mean with the other exempt the material of the active with the concentration except for the consignment activity. Unlimited listed within table 173.436 determined in accordance with the procedure for the described 173.433 U is determined whether the given physical with the radioactive material sufficiently radioactive subject with a human hazard material regulation defined the radioactive material exemption value different for the exemption specified under the definition special permit 171.8 of the subchapter. Official material means the plutonium-239, plutonium-241, 233, uranium-235 with a combination of the radionuclide. Official material means the official nuclei of this does not material contained with the official nuclei does not include the unradiated natural uranium depleted with the uranium with the natural uranium depleted with the uranium that has been irradiated with the theory of the reactive certain expectations for the fissile material that are provided 173.453. Freight container means the reusable container having the volume of 1.81 cubic meter with 64 cubic feet with the mortise designed with the construction of the permit with the immediately lifted with the contents intact with the intent of the primary with the contaminant packages uniform to the oriented transportation small freight containers is once for the internal volume of not more than 3 cubic meters for 106 cubic feet with the all freight container for the design of a large freight container. For the graphite mean for the purpose of the 173.453, the graphite with a born equivalent contaminant of 5 parts per million, density greater than 1.5 grams per cubic centimeter, highway routed control quantity of the means of the quantity with a single package will exceed 3,000 times with the A1 value of the radionuclide specified 173.435 special for the class of the radioactive materials, 3,000 times the A2 value of the radionuclide specified 173.435 of the normal class of the radioactive materials, or 1,000 whichever is listed to less. Limited quantity of the class of the radioactive materials mean with the quantity of the class of the radioactive material and not see with the packaging limited is specified. 173.425 conforming with the requirements specified. 173.421 low specific activity material with the class of the radioactive material limited specific activity which is the non-physical material with the expect with the 173.453 satisfied with the description limits set forth and below the short shielding material surrounded with low specific activity material may not correspond with the determining with the estimated average specific activity low specific activity material low specific activity material must be one of the three groups. LSA 1. Uranium, thorium, or of the concentrate of the uranium, thorium, or of the other ores contaminating natural or occurring with radionuclides, which are intended for the rest of the UV with the radionuclides, natural uranium, deplete with the uranium, natural thorium, and enter their compounds mixture with the provided they are irradiated insoluble liquid and form the radioactive material of which for the A2 value is unlimited radioactive material of which the activity is distributed throughout estimated average specific activity does not exceed 30 times the value of the activity, the concentration specified 173.432 for the calculated within corners 173.436 or 30 times the default value listed in table 8 173.433 the low specific activity 2 water with the titanium concentrate up to 0.8 TB later with the other radioactive material of which of the activity distributed throughout the average specific activity does not exceed 10 to negative 4 for the A2G with the solid glass for the 10 to 5 for the AG2 with the liquid solid and gas 3 with the solid and consolidated waste of the activated pulp of the materials exuded the power to meet the requirements of 173.468 with which the radioactive materials is distributed through the solid of the collection with the solid object with the essentially uniformly distributed with the solid with the compact with the binding agent with the stuff of the concrete bitumen cement make a central radioactive material with the relatively insoluble, intrinsically contained with the relatively insoluble black material with the even under the loss of the package, loss of the class of the radioactive material with the material of the package with each of the place in the water with the 7 days would not exceed 1/10 of the A2 with the estimated average specific activity solid with the shielding material with the 19 2 times negative third A2G. Low toxic alpha emitter of the means of natural uranium depleted with the uranium, natural thorium, uranium 235, uranium 238, thorium 232, uranium 238, the thorium 230, when the containing ore physical chemical with concentrate of the alpha emitted with the half-life of the less than 10 days. Maximum normal operating pressure means with the maximum gauge pressure with the developed and contaminant of the system during the period of 1 year of the absence of the venting with the cooling under the heating conditions specified in 1030 CFR 171 7171C1. Multi-approval to mean with the approval of the package does not ship it with the relevant component with the authority of the country of the origin east of the country through the in which of the package of the shipment of the transport of the definition does not include approval of the country of the class 7 radioactive materials that are carried in an aircraft. There is no scheduled stop in the country. Natural thorium means with the thorium natural occurring with the distribution thorium isotopes essentially with 100% of the weight of the thorium-232. Normal class 7 radioactive materials mean the class 7 radioactive materials which have not been demonstrated qualified is a special form of the class 7 radioactive materials. Package mean with the packaging together the radioactive materials contents represented in for the transfer. Except for the package mean with the packaging together is expected with the class of the radioactive material that specified from 173, 421, 426 to 426 to 428. Industrial package mean with the packaging together the low specific activity material with the surface of the contaminated subject contaminates contents mean with the requirements of the 173, 410, 411. industrial packaging are categorized on 411 as either industrial type package of the type industrial package 2, industrial package type 3, a type A package meaning the package together the radioactive content with the limit of the A2, A1, A2 properly meet with the requirements of 173, 410, 412 of the design to retain the integrity of the containment is shielded required by the part of the normal condition for the transport is demonstrated for the test or set forth in 173, 465, 466. Appropriate A, the type of the A package does not require the complete competent authority approval. The type B package meaning the package design with the transport greater than A1, A2 quantity of the radioactive material together with the radioactive content of the design and intel. Retain integrity of the compartment shielding required by this part of subject to normal condition transportation hypothetical accident test conditions set forth in 10 CFR Part 71. Type BU means the Type B packaging together the radioactive content of the internal shipment with the required with the unilateral approval of the package design. Any of the storage provisions may be necessary for the dissipation. Type B M packages being with the Type B packaging together with the radioactive content of the internal shipment with the requirements of multilateral approval of the package design may be the approval of the condition shipment. Type B M package with those Type B package design which have the maximum normal operation pressure of more than 700 kilos per PSL, 100 pounds into the tube with the gauge with the release device, which would allow the release of the class of the reactive material of the environment under the hypothetical accident conditions specified in Title 10 CFR Part 71. Fissile material packaging together with the fissile material of the concept of the meet the requirements of the fissile material package described in Subpart E, Title 10 CFR 71. Fissile material package may be with the Type AF package with the Type BUF packaging with the Type BMF package. Packaging with the class of the radioactive material of the assembly with the component necessary to ensure the compliance with the packaging requirements of the subpart that consists of the one that was recyclably absorbed with the material with the special spacing structure of the thermal insulation, radiation shielding, surface of the equipment, filling empty with the venting of the pressure relief device with the cooling and absorbing the mechanical shock and with the fancy tied down system with the auxiliary equipment that may be sometimes designated as part of this packaging. Quality assurance with the system with the program control with the inspection of the ply with each for the person involved with the transportation radioactive material with the provider the conformity of the standard safety prescribed within sub-third chapter of the achieve the track of the radiation level the mean with the radiation dose equivalent radio expressed in millivolts per hour, milliremes per hour, and is the sum of the equivalent from all the type of liquid radiation present including the alpha, the beta, with the gamma, neutron radiation, neutron flux density. They may be used to determine the neutron radiation level of the accumulation according to the table 1. And then I reach table 1, the radioactive content, class 7, the radioactive material together are contaminated with the activated itself of the gas within the packages. Radioactive instrument article with the mean with the manufacturer instrument with the SF for the instrument clock with the electrical tube, the apparatus film with the instrument article having the class of the reactive material with the gaseous and non-dispersible solid with the component of the reactive material with the mean with the material with the contained radionuclide with the active concentration total activity consignment. You see with the value specified on the table 173, 436 with the value with the derived and corn with the instruction 173, 433. Special for the class of the radioactive material with the meat either indispersible solid with the radioactive material seal capsule contained with the radioactive material that is satisfied with the following conditions. Is either a single solid piece with the sealed capsule with the contained with the radioactive material that can be opened only with the destroying capsule with the piece with the capsule with the leaf of 1 dimension of 5 millimeters satisfied with the test requirements and special specified 173, 469 with the special form of the encapsulation design with the requirements of 173.389G with the effect with the June 30th, 1983. See Title 49 CFR Part 173 with the October 1st, 1982 with the construction with the prior to July 1st, 1985 with the special form of the encapsulation design in accordance with the requirements of 173.403, effective March 31st, 1996, Title 49 CFR Part 173, revised October 1st, 1995, construction Part 1, April 1, 1997, the making and intended to be used in any other special encapsulation may be the requirements of the paragraph B, paragraph 3. Specific activity radionuclide, active with the radionuclide, unit mass of the nuclide. With the specific activity material with the radioactivity essential to the form and nature with the activity per unit mass material with the surface contained the object with the meat with the solid object with the not itself with the radioactive material, but radioactive material distributed within surface with the surface contained object with exists in 2 phases. Surface contained object solid 1, object 1, which with the not fixed with contamination accessible surface average over 300 centimeters and one area of surface less than 300 centimeters with the with the 4 BQ centimeter square, 10 4 microcurie centimeter square with the beta with the gamma low toxicity alpha the meter with the 0.4 BQ centimeter square the microcurie cm square. Although there are other alpha emitter with the fixed contamination except for the surface of air average with the 300 centimeter with the air with the surface with the 300 centimeter. It's not seed 4.10 to BQ centimeter square for the beta with the game with low toxicity alpha emitter with a 410.3 BQ centimeter square for the microcurie for all other emitters. Non-fixed containing the fixed contamination inaccessible for the coverage surface average of the 300 centimeter for the area of the surface of the left within 300 centimeter for the design seed 4 to the 10 centimeter square for the microcurie with the beta with the game with the low toxicity emitter for the 4/10 of the BQ centimeter square for all the other alpha emitter with the surface container object with the 2 for the solid object with the limits of the alpha control object seeds and on the non-fixed contamination adds or accessible surface with the average of the 300 centimeter of the area surface within the 300 centimeter of the design seed 400 BQ centimeter square of the microcurie for the beta of the game and the low toxicity alpha with the emitter with the BQ centimeter squared for all other alpha emitters. Fixed containing an accessible surface the average with the 300 centimeter square of the all are surface with the 300 centimeter square of the design seed 8 to the 10 to the 5th of the 20 centimeter square 20 microcurie beta gamma low toxicity alpha emitter with the 8 10 to the 4 with BQ centimeter square for all other alpha emitters. The non-fixed contamination fixed contamination is acceptable surface the average of the 300 centimeter with the area of the surface the area of the less than 300 centimeter the design seed 8 10 to the 5th centimeter square for the beta of the gamma and low toxicity alpha the emitter with the 10 8 to the 10 4 BC squared for all other alpha emitters. The transport index means and dimensions the number to round down up for the next 10 for the place on the label of package design degree with the control of the of the control carry with the, during the transportation transport the index to determine the multiplying with the maximum radiation level with the multi-average per hour 1 meter 3.3 feet with the external surface of the package with the 100 equivalent maximum radiation level of the millirem per 3.3 feet. Type A quantity must be quantity with the class of the radioactive material aggregated with the radioactive that does not exceed the A1 special class of the radioactive material, A2 with the normal class of the radioactive material with the class A1, A2 value and given them with the A's 173,435 determined in accordance with the 173,433. Type B quantity with the quantity material with the greater than type A quantity on lateral approval means the approval of the unpackaged design solely with the competent authority of the country or the origin of the design. Unrated thorium must be thorium and contain not less than 10 grams of the 10.233 per gram of thorium-232. The uranium means the uranium containing not more than 2 to 10 to third with a BQ plutonium per gram. Unium-235 not more than 6 of the big fusion production per gram. The UN-235 not more than 510 to third gram. Uranium-236 per gram. The uranium-235. Uranium natural of the complete with the enriched for the meaning of the following the natural uranium meets the uranium which may be chemically separated with the contained with the natural occurring distributed with the uranium isotope with approximately 9828 separate with the uranium-238 with the UN-72 with the uranium-235 by mass. Depleted uranium means of the uranium containing lesser than more percent of the uranium-235 with the natural uranium. Enriched uranium means the uranium contained with the greater than half the percent of the uranium-235 with 72%. For each of the definition of the very small of the mass percentage of the uranium-234 may be present. 173.410. The general design requirements addition with the requirements of the subpart A and B of the part each of the packages of the shipment of the class 7 and A radioactive materials must be designed so that the package can be easily handled with the properly secured with the inner ones during transportation. Each of the lifting attachment with the structural part of the package must be designed with a minimum of the safety factor with the 3 against yielding when you the lifting package with the intent of the manner of the packaging must be designed so that the favor of any of the lifting attachment or the accepted load would not impair the impality of the package to meet other requirements of the subpart. Any other structural part of the package would be could be used to lift the package, but must be capable of bending and rendering an operable lifting package during the transportation must be designed with the strength of the equivalent and so the required of the lifting attachment. External surfaces as far as the practical will free with the poor protruding feature of the feature for the will be easily contaminated. Out layer packaging will avoid with this far practical the pack with the carry crevices of the wire might become collect with each of the features that have of the package will not reduce the safety of the package. The package will be capable of withstanding the effects of of any acceleration, vibration resolution may be arrive at the under normal condition of the transportation with any of the deterioration effectiveness of the closing device vapor, various receptacle integrity of the packaging is whole without loosening and an inch of the release of the nuts and other securing devices even after repeated use of 173.24, 173.24A, 124B. Materials construction of the packaging and components of the structure will be physically chemical compatible with either the other packaging content of the behavior of the packaging of the packaging containing with the irradiation will be taken into account. All value of which of the packaging content that could escape will be will be protected against unauthorized operators for transportation air with a temperature acceptable to surface axis does not exceed 120 degrees Fahrenheit, ambient temperature 100 degrees Fahrenheit will not applicably accommodate the installation. Integrity of the contamination may not impair packaging except with the ambient temperature ranging 40 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 181 degrees Fahrenheit. A package containing the liquid and contains of the bag capable of withstanding the weak without leakage and internal pressure for the pressure for the differential will not lift the maximum normal operating pressure of 13.8 psi. 134.411, the industrial package. Each of the industrial package must comply with the requirements of the section that specify the packaging test for the recorded retention of the apple for the industrial package type A and type B, type 2, industrial package type 3, industrial package certification, testing in each type of the industrial package 4 meets the requirements, general requirements, and prescribed 173.410. Industrial packaging certification. Each type industrial package of the beneath of the general design requirements prescribed in 173.410. Each type industrial package must for the general design requirements prescribed in 173.410 with the subpackage up with the test specified in 173.465C. The date they evaluated again with the test and method they have authorized 173.468 that must prevent low dispersal of the radioactive the counts with the significant increase of the radioactive level to record with the calculate with the external surface of the condition that before test. Each type of industrial package must meet the requirements and type of the industrial package A. Industrial package 2 must meet the requirements of the requirements specified in 173.412A through J. Portable tank may be used with one type of industrial package package for the provided that it meets the requirements of the type of industrial package with specified in paragraph B1 of the meets the requirements of the pressure prescribed in chapter 6.1 with additional United Nations for the recommendation of the transportation of the dangerous goods. Requirements design with the requirement design, construction, inspection, testing the portable tank with the multiple elements of gas containers. Other requirements for the less equivalent with those trained with the app capable of withstanding with the test pressure for 38.5 psi is designed with addition with a shield that can provide that must be capable of withstanding with the dynamic stressing result of the handling routine and reconditioned transportation preventing more than 20% of the increase of the maximum radiation level of the external surface of the portable tanks. Cargo tank of the tank car for the type of the industrial package, the industrial package 3 with the type of the low sensitive activity of 1 and 2 liquid gases prescribed in table 6 for the 173. 427 the provided the means of the requirements of type of industrial package with the specified in paragraph B1. Capable of withstanding with a test pressure of 38.45 psi with 9 additional shielding of the provided that must be capable of withstanding with a static dynamic stress result of the handling the routine condition of the transportation preventing more than 20% increase of the maximum radiation level of the external surface of the tanks of the freight container that may be either the type of the industrial packaging 1, 2, and 3 of the packages provided with the radioactive content of the prescribed with the radiosolid material meet for the requirements for the industrial package of the specified in paragraph B1 of this and meet the standard for the prescribed international organization standard documentation ISO 14961 the freight 1 freight container specified. Here's in part 1G. One general cargo tank including the dimensions of the rating with the IBR 171.7 of the subchapter must be designed such as subject with the test prescribed with the document the acceleration that occurring with the doing the routine condition of transport of the board prevent the low dispersal of the radioactive contents more than 20% of the increase with the maximum radiation level of the external surface of the freight container metal intermediate of the bulk container may use the type of industrial package of the two industrial package 3 with the meet with the requirements of the industrial package that specified in paragraph B1 of the meet with the requirements of the chapter 6.5 of the United Recommendation Transportation Dangerous Goods requirements of the requirement of construction and testing with an intermediate bulk container for the packaging group 1 and 2 the subject for the test of the prescribed documentation for the draft testing that must be damaging and orientation would prevent loss dispersal of the radioactive contents must be more than 20% of the increase of the maximum radiation level of the external surface of the intermediate bulk container. Whichever the type of the industrial package of the alpha the industrial package must maintain with the fire at least 2 years after the alpha's latest ship of the must provide with the associated administration with the request for the complete with the documentation type of the engineering of the evaluation comparative and data show the construction the method of the packaging design and material construction comply with the specification. Additional design requirements to meet the type A package with the initial meeting of the requirements to design the requirements of paragraph described in 173.410 with the type of A package must be designed so that the outside packaging with the complete corpus of the feature of the type of this seal that the readily practicable with the inactive the evidence for the packaging has not been opened and the case of the package is shipped in clothed in the transport. Vehicles exclusive of the cargo component of the individual pack with the smallest journal, the dimension of the package is left within 10 centimeters of the containment, and with the shipping will maintain during the transportation and store with the terms of the range of negative 40 to 158 degrees Celsius. Fahrenheit specific attention that should be given in liquid content with the potential degradation packaging material within the temperature gate range. Packaging must include the component and containing the system of the circular clove with the positive of the flashing device that cannot be opened unintentionally by the packaging with maybe they arrive with the package during the normal transportation. Spacing class 7-8 radioactive material as demonstrated within Corinth 173-469 may construct with the containing system and if the contamination if the separate unit of the package must be securely closed positive fastening device with independent any other part of the package for each of the component of the containing system account with attacking and taken into app with the radiolithic decomposition of the material generation of the gas, the chemical radiation radiolysis, containment system with the reactive contents over the reduction aimed intensity of the 60 degrees kilopascals. Each valve of the other pressure for the release device provided the enclosure for the retain any leakage, any of the radiation shield with the component packaging specified in part of the containing system with the ram with the consistent unintentional shape of the component from the shield. Failure to tie down attachment circular structural part of the packaging when they're both normal and acceptable for the package to meet the requirements of the subchapter evaluated again for the performance meet requirements of the section test for the 173-465 usually any method that authorized in 173-461A packaging will prevent. Plus dispersal of the radioactive content signal increase the radiation level of the record with the calculated with the external surface over the condition before the test and each of the personal design liquid it will be designated provided with the ullage and accommodation variant in temperature with the content of the dynamic effect of the following dynamics. Meet with the condition prescribed in paragraph 1, J of the section of the subject for the test specified in 173-466 of the evaluated again for the test for the aim of the method that authorized in 173-461A, either the sufficient suitability of absorbent material over the volume of the liquid content of the absorbent material that was compatible with the package content suitable for the positions content with the liquid of the event with the leakage having contaminant is in system of the component with the primary inner secondary outer contaminant with the component of the design ensure the liquid contents completely ensure the retention of the liquid secondary outer component event with the primary inner component leak. Each of the package design with the gap of the tritanium exceeding the 40% of the TBQ 1080C1 noble gap exceeding the A2 value valve appropriate the noble gap to prevent and leak unless the disposal of the content of the packaging is subject to the test prescribed in 173-466 with evaluated against the test by any method that authorized in 173-461A. 173-413 requirement of type B with the package except for the provided in paragraph 5 with 173-416 type B with the package must be designed with constructed to meet the applicable requirements specified in Title 10 CFR Part 71. 173-415 authorized type A package with the following package authorized for the shipment, but if they do not contain the quantity exceeding 1A, 1-2 for the appropriate specification 7A with the type A general with the packaging unit in January 2012 with the offer for the specification 7A pack with the must maintain with the further at least one with the year of the after the latest shipment should provide the data required for the complete with the documentation template and engineering evaluation compatible with the data shown with the construction method, the packaging design with the material, with the construction complied with the specification after January 1st, 2017. Special each of the author specifications 7 age 7 package with the must retain with the file with the release of the 12 year for the offer the latest for the shipment and shall provide with the data and request even the following. A description of the package showing the material of the construction, the dimension of the way of the closure material including the gasket type of the for the type of contaminant material used in normal transportation found in the package is subject to the physical test of 173-465 the applicable to 173-466 documentation testing include the date of the place for the test of the signature test detailed description each test performed including the equipment used in damage each item in a contaminated system the result from the test from any of the demonstrate for the compliant with the test the authorized in 173-461 with the detail of the nails for the show for the content of the being shipped package meet the permanent for the .7A with the type of the A specification of the author obtained with the packaging, any other packaging meets definition of the packaging manufacturing 178 to 850 C with the subchapter certification for the packaging manufacturer for the packaging all meet all the requirements 178 350 radioactive contents prescribed in the transport copy of the documents maintained by the perform packaging manufacturer that meets the requirements of the paragraph A1 of this section. Any other type of the packaging must meet the standard of the official material of the Title 10 CFR Part 71 of within accordance with 173-471 type BUBM packaging authorized pursuant 173-416. Any foreign material packed with meet with the standard of the IAEA regulation safety transport radioactive material 7 and 7R within the bear with the packaging with the type of the surface pack using the maybe with the domestic export with the class 7 radioactive materials provided with the other obtained with the applicable documentation and type of the engineering evaluation maintained. Documentation filed in the corner for the paragraph A of the section of the packaging must conform with the requirements for the country and origin indicated with the packaging marking. IEA regulations applicable to type A packaging. 173 416, the authorized type B package, the E for the following package, the authorized shipping the quantities over the A1, A2, there is appropriately any type of the BU, BM packaging with the applicable requirements of 10 CFR Part 71 with approved with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission may be shipped pursuant with 173.471. Any type BU, BM packaging made for the applicable requirements of IAEA Regulation Safety Transportation Radioactive Materials SAS, SSR, for which the following component of the authority certificate of the related with the dot pursuant with the 173.473 with the packaging authorized and any other export import shipping minutes. Package approved by the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission for the specific package authorized granting in accordance with Title 10 CFR 7141D that provided the offer of the domestic transportation in accordance with the requirements of 173.471 B and C. 173.417 authorized official material of the packaging except for the provided 173.453 official material of the containing not more than A1, A2, but the appropriate must be packaged in one of the following packages. Any packaging listed in was 173.415 limited with the class of radioactive material used in Title 10 CFR Part 171, Start 71 Subpart C. Any type of the AF, the BUF, and BMF of the packaging with the meat for the apple, the jam with the official material of the packaging, 10,000 CFR Pro 71. Any type of the AF type BUFF, BMF of the packaging with the meat for the apple, the requirements of the official material of the packaging with the section 6 for the International Automatic Energy Fleet Regulation, Safety Transportation Radioactive Materials, SSR. And for the witness for the component authority of the certificate revalidated of the U.S. component of the authority with the accordance with 173.473 with the package that authorized only the extraordinary the in-shipment residual heal of the enriched solve of the uranium hexafluoride, the transported with the protected overpack of the metal cylinder with the meat for the requirements of 173.416 and 178.350 with the subject of the specification 7A with the type A packaging requirements 173.420 with the packaging containing greater than 10 kilograms uranium hexafluoride. Any sufficient shipment to be made in accordance with the table 2 with its files. Then it shows table 2. Fissile radioactive material with the radioactive contents exceed A1, A2 with the packages and one with the following packaging with the BU, BM packaging with the meat for the same with the packaging with the fissile material with the 10 CFR Part 71. The proof of the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, even in accordance with 173.471, BU type BU and BM package with the office of meat for the capital, the requirements of fissile material with the packaging, Section 6 International Automatic Agency Regulation for the Safety Transportation Radioactive Materials. SSR 6 for the foreign competent authority certificate very validated use competent authority according to 173.473 with the package and against and authorized only with the import with exported shipments. A package of approved with the U.S. regulatory requirements under the special packaging authorization granting in accordance with the Title 10 CFR 7141D is authorized in domestic transportation in accordance with the respiration requirements of 173.471 B and C. 173.418 authorized package with the pyrolytic class 7 radioactive materials, pyrolytic class 7 radioactive materials like reference in 172.101 table of subject with the client with the C, the A2 with the per package must be transported specification 7A packaging constructed or materials that will not react with the decompose with the concept of the package and solve the form that must be within official with everything except the 173.463 contains seal with the corrosion resistant receptacle with the positive pressure for the friction with the slip for the cover of the top of the roof and not authorized free with the water with the cams of the water and with the reactive with the material with the inverted in air to prevent with the self integration ignition during transportation by either mixing large volume with the in air maximum material such as the graphite dry sand or other suitable liner material with the blending of the mixture for the hardened concrete. Filling the innermost receptacle appropriately in air gas liquid with a pyrolytic class of the radioactive material transported in the aircraft must be packaged in type B packages. 173.419 authorized package oxidizing class 7 radioactive material. The oxidizing class 7 radioactive material reference 172.101 subchapter the authorized quantity for the exceed with the A2 with the package the specification 7A with the package provided contents not visible the package inside of the package in glass metal of the compound compatible with the plastic position of the material will not react with the contents and out package with the meat with the wood and metal with the plastic package must be capable of meeting with the apple with the test requirements 173.465 without leakage. Contents shipped in the air with the maximum quantity in package with the United States 25 pounds. 172.420 uranium hexafluoride fissile with expected non-fissile with in addition to the A with their application requirements subchapter quantity with greater than 110 kilogram fissile for the fissile for the non-fissile uranium hexafluoride may offer for the transportation as followed before initial fillings during the periodic inspection testing package with the only used in cleaning according to the American National Standard N14.1 of the C171 subchapter of the packaging may be designed with the fabricated with the inspected tested and marked with the accordance with the American National Standard N14.1 with the effect of the time packaging with the manufacturer reserved in sections 8 ASME code 171 7 of the subchapter provided the packaging when manufactured before June 30, 1980 for the form in addition with the USA ME code in effect with the time of the packaging manufactured. Is due to the original design limitation shell with the head with the thickness of the head of the crease below with the minimum value specified in the following table. Each package has a design that will withstand hydrostatic internal pressure with at least 200 psi gauge without leakage. With the same on the test specified 173.465 without loss of the dispersal uranium hexafluoride, withstand the specified 10 CFR 7173 C4 with the rupture of the containing system. Uranium hexafluoride must be in solid form, volume solid uranium hexafluoride, acceptably depleted with the uranium hexafluoride at 68 degrees Fahrenheit, maybe 61% of certified volume, match certain half of the package for the volume solid, depleted with the uranium hexafluoride, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, may not exceed 62% certified volumetric capacity of the packaging. Pressure packaging with 68 degrees Fahrenheit must be lubed at 14 psi. Each packaging of the uranium hexafluoride must be periodically accepted and tested, marked with an otherwise conform with the American International Standard 914-1. Each repair packaging for the uranium hexafluoride must be performed in accordance with the American National Standard N14. 1. Uranium hexafluoride not exceed the limit specified in limited quantity with the limits common. Table 4 is 173, 425, classified UN 3507. Uranium hexafluoride radioactive materials expect with the packaging and 0.22 hundreds of pounds per package. Non-official expect with provided the maximum uranium hexafluoride package is less than 22 tenths of pounds. The condition of the 173, 24, 124A, 173, 421 AD are met. The package of the containing 1 kilogram with more than UF6 of the proper shipping medium of the UN radioactive material uranium hexafluoride UN 28 and 2978 with the U of the transportation non-visible except for the uranium hexafluoride with the proper shipping name of the UN no more radioactive material uranium hexafluoride visible. UN 29 except there must be with the transportation with the visible uranium hexafluoride. UN 173, 421, except for the package of the limit of the quantity class of the radioactive material. The class of the radioactive material, the active of the package of the design, see with the limited quantity of the package specified on table 4 with 173, 425, the packaging, accepted one subchapter specification market with the accepted with the UN identification number. The pack market requirements described the 172, 173, 422A with the labeling that hazard of the substance with the hazard wave of the shipping paper, the requirements of the subpart. If the package made with the general requirements of 173, 410, the radiation level over the any point exceeding the surface of the packaging, not exceeding 5,000 millisievert and the non-fixed contamination external surface with the package with the dynasty with the limits for this by 173, 443A. Outside inner packaging, other than no inner packaging outside of the packaging itself will be when they come in the radioactive material. The package does not contain the physical material of the external left expect with the 173, 455, 453 materials otherwise prepared and shipping that specified on the corners with the 173, 422. 173, 422, an additional requirement expect with the package contained with the class of the radioactive materials is the package with the class of the radioactive material with the prepared with the provision 173, 421, 424, 424, 426, 428. Small quantity of the anti-hazardous transportation high with a rare way to define 173, 4, which I mean the requirements one of the possessing but not subject to the additional requirement of the subchapter except for the following. The outside of each of the packages must be marked with the UN identification number of the material proceeding. Letters UN shown in column 4 with the hazard material of the table of the 172-101 subchapter. The RQ with the down bulk of the packaging containing the hazardous substance. Section 171, 15, 16 of the subchapter pertaining the reporting incident with section 174, 750, 705, 176, 710 with the subchapter depending with the mode of the transportation pertaining the reporting documentation. Transportation requirements of subpart 8 to part 172 subchapter and the material of the means for the definition of the hazardous substance of the hazardous material shipping paper the requirements subpart C of the part 172 subchapter except for the shipping paper with the subject of the shipping paper the requirements of Apple with the class of the radioactive material of the 172 202 A5 A6 A 203 D 204 C4 173, 423 with the requirement of the multiple that has the liquid classified with the radioactive material except for the provided 173, 4 with the limited quantity of the radioactive material with the me with the definition of the aim of the has the class division me with the class of additional have package for the conformance of the requirements specified in 173, 421 A through E and 173, 424 A and G through this appropriate offered with the transportation according to the requirements of Apple with the has for the which for the class limited quantity for the class 7 radioactive material of the class other than class 7 radioactive material subchapter except for the requirements of 173, 422 A 203 D 204 C4 in the subchapter if entry limited quantity radioactive material expired with the shipping paper then associated with the basic description. 173, 424, each expect with the factory of the instruction of the reactive instruction article of the packaging except with the requirements of subchapter of the specification packaging label the mark for the UN identification number of the packaging requirements described in 173, 422 A have the substance of the hazardous waste. The shipping the paragraph of the requirements of subchapter. If each of the package in general with the design requirements 173.410 with the activity instrument with the activity during the activity relevant and limited to least listed table 4 173.425 total activity per package design. See the relevant limited list for the table 4 with 173.425. Note the radiation level of 10 centimeter the frame the point external for the unpackaged instrument. The article for the design seed for 1 millimeter MSV per hour. The active material with the complete with the non-active component of the device performing the sole function of the containment of the radioactive material shall be considered the instrument of the manufactured article. The radiation level at any point with the external surface with the packet of the exceeding the article instrument is in design exceed 500,000 of millisurface. So the verse of the surface of the domestic shipping of the 200 of the millisurface of the not fixed removal of the radio surface contamination of the external surface of the packaging not exceeding limited specified 173.430A except for the provided 173.426 for the package does not contain more than 15 grams of uranium 235 of the package otherwise prepared and shipped them specified 173.422. The 173.425 table of specific activity limits some of the expected the quantity of the article limits are applicable to the instrument activity limited quantity of the exemption 173.421 424 and set forth the table of fours as follows as 173.426 except for the package of the article to name the natural uranium of the thorium and manufactured article with the class of the reactive material containing the time of the natural uranium or unradiated depleted uranium natural thorium and package with the accepted of the requirements of the subject with the specification packaging labeling marking except for the unification and identification marking requirements described in 173.422A but it is not authorized substance with the hazardous waste of the shipping material requirements of the subpart if each of the packaging general design requirements 173.410 with the outer surface of the uranium thorium and clothes the active the sheath that is made with the metal with the other durable part of the materials the conditions specified in 173.421 B, C, and D with met with the articles otherwise prepared and shipped in the specified 173.422 173.427 for the transportation requirement of those specific activity classes of the radioactive material for the surface of the contaminated subject for the individually applicable requirements specified within the subject of the LO specific activity surface of the contaminated object must be transported with the following condition external dose of the density with the exceeding external radiation level of 10 millisurface with a 3 millimeter feet with the unshielded medical quantity. Those surface activities material with the surface contained object as transported within a single conveyance of the exceeding the limits of the specified in table 5 of the limited specific those specific activity of the surface contained object with the contained physical material that must conform to the applicable requirements of 173.453. Package unpackaged and class 7 ready made material must conform to the containing content limited to 173.443. External radiation level to the may not be specified 173.441 and for low specific activity material surface containing object with the consignment exclusive you with the shipment must be low with the consignment unload with the containing of the conveyance the afraid with the container originally low there may be no low radioactive material with the conveyance if they have with the conveyance with the packaging there may any with leakage of the radioactive material made with the conveyance package unpackaged and class of the radioactive material of the liberation and preventing shipping of the landing of the under the condition normal engine for the transportation specific instruction maintenance of the exclusive the shipment of the containers should be provided offered with the care of the instructions must include with the shipping paper the information. Shipper must be placarded in accordance with the subpart F of the part 172 subchapter of domestic transportation package for the unpackage the class of the radioactive material containing less than A2 quantity with the accepted of the marking labeling requirements of subchapter other than subsidiary hazardous labeling required 172.402 however the exterior of each of the package unpacked the class 7 radioactive material must be stenciled otherwise radioactive low sensitive specifically activity radioactive the surface container object appropriate the package for the unpacked the class of the radioactive material containing hazardous substance that must be stenciled and otherwise marked with the letters of the R key with the associated description paragraph of the A656 Transportation aircraft the prohibited except for the transportation industrial packaging in with the table 6 for the section any of the authorized tape A and B with the type package except for the providing paragraph of the C and D with the section low specifically activated material surface containing object must be packaged and filed with any industrial package type industrial package 1 and 2 and 3 with the 173 and 14 111 and subject with the limitation table 6. In DOT specification 7A 178 350 subchapter with the type A package. Any type BU with the BM package with the authorized person 173.416 domestic transportation except for the shipment of the left of the A2 quantity of the package which meet the requirements of 173.410 portable tanks cargo tank with the tank with cars provided 173.411 and B4 and 5 respectively those specific activity 1 surface contained object may be transported and unpacked with the following condition and all packaged on the two of the other within ores and containing the ore naturally occurring in the radionuclide must be transported in such a manner under the normal routine condition transport with there are no escape of the radioactive sound to the conveyance no more than any of the loss to shielding each conveyance may be under the exclusive except for the only transported surface container object which is the contamination Inaccessible server the net greater than 4 BQ M7 remove the beta of the beta greater emitter with the lowest tax of the alpha emitter with the 4 times the bell beta Q all alpha emitters Surface container object 1 with the reasonable suspect with a non-fixed contamination may be except for the inaccessible surface except for the value specified in the paragraph C2 with the section mass with the shall be taken within surface that the radioactive material does not release in conveyancy with the environment and the highway rail and conveyancy be plaque and orange with the subpart F 172 the subchapter low specific activity of the surface container object with the except of the packaging limit for the surface detection must be packaged in accordance with one title CFR part 71 tables 5 and 6 files. 173, 428, empty for the class of radioactive material packaging reaction which previously contained the class of the radioactive materials that have been empty content of the practical except for the shipping paper the market except for the UN identification number of the pack the requirements described in the 173, 422 with the requirements of the subchapter provided with the packaging meet the requirements of the 173, 421 BC and even the subpart packaging of the unpair of the condition that's secured closely so there will be no class 7 radioactive material that under the normally into the transportation outer package to serve the uranium, thorium, and the structure that covered with the inactivated sheet of the made of the metal with the surface of the substantial material. The internal combination does not exceed 100 times the limit of the 173 430A and labeled to previously labeled to have the conformance of subpart E part 172 with the subchapter to remove the outer obliterate covered with the empty label to prescribe 172 450 the subchapter asphyxiated packaging is prepared and shipped to specified 173 422, 173 431 active limit of the type A and B packs except for the low specific active material service container object type A packs must contain the quantity of the class of the radioactive material greater than A1 special form of the class of the radioactive material, A2 of the normal class of the radioactive material listed in 173 435 of the class of the radioactive materials not listed in 173 435 determined in accordance with 173 433 limits activity contained in BUBM the activity prescribed 173 416 417 apple approval the certificating 173 471 472 473 173 433 requirements of the determined basic radionuclides available with the listing radionuclides shipping paper with the label of the individual radionuclides the table of 173 435 436 with the A1 A2 available given in the table of 173 435 with the active occurrence duration available with the consignment with the activity exemption valve given in the table of 173 436 with the individual radionuclides which are not listed in the table 173, 435, 436, which with no relevant data available the radionuclides available at the table, so within the A with the section may be either the other basic radionuclides available provided with the first proof of their associated manner for the international transport with the multiple approval obtained with the impertinent with competent authorities in calculating A1, A2 value with approval in with the paragraph B2 with the section permissible with the A2 calculated with the dose of the efficiency appropriate lung absorption type of the recommended with the internal the National Commission for the Radio for the Protection of the chemical forms of each of the radionuclide under the both the normal accident condition transporting and the take of the condition single radioactive decay chain within the radionuclides perfectly natural occurring with the proportion of the which for the no daughter nuclide half-life that either longer than 10 days longer than the parent within the nuclide with the with a single nuclides active with the take within the account with the A1, A2 value would be applied with the stuff that corresponding with the parent nuclide of the chain. Otherwise, parent with the daughter nuclide with the conservative as a mixture of the different mixture of the radionuclides within of the respective authorities now must conform with the following conditions. Specific class 7 of the radioactive material that affect activity which for the transported type A packages must be satisfied. For the normal class 7 of the radioactive material the activity that may be transported type A packages must satisfy. If the package must both especially the normal class of the radioactive material activity must be trimmed, the type A package must satisfy. Alternative the A without that one value must be form of the value with the determinant valve of the A. Alternative the A2 value to make sure the normal material with the determinant vowels, and then it shows the formula except for the activity concentration make sure the nuclei immediately determining its vowels, and then it shows the the activity limited except for the consignment the mixture of the nuclei determinant its vowels. When the identity of the nuclide known with the individual activity sum of the radionuclides known with the radionuclides may be grouped with the lowest A1, A2 value with the appropriate radionuclides. If the group with applying with the formula, the paragraph D1 through D5 of the section group may be based on total alpha activity, total beta gamma, the activity known with the everything lowest A1, A2 value, the alpha emitter with the beta gamma, respectively. When identified each of the radionuclides of the individual activity, some of the radionuclides are not known, but the radionuclides may be grouped with the lowest activity concentration, except for the material with the A activity limit exceeding with the consignment of the value, the appropriate with the radionuclides, even the group of the everything implied with the formulas in paragraph D6, D7 of the section groups may be based on the total alpha. The activity is total beta grammar activity with the known with the lowest A and A value with the alpha emitter with the beta gamma and the emitter with the X respectively. Shipping paper, the labeling of the mixture of the radionuclides. Radionuclides must be shown on the shipping paper. The labels within accordance 173, 203, 403 of this chapter, and respectively must be determined on the basis of the following formula. 173 to 434. active with the mass relationship with uranium, neutral, natural thorium, and active with the relationship with uranium, natural through the deuterium, the thous, and table 435, A1, A2 value of the radionuclides, table A1, A2 value of the radionuclides fouls, and then it goes through these charts of these, 436 with the except of the material of the activity concentration, with the except of the consignment of the activity limit of the radionuclides, with except of the material of the activity concentration, except of the consignment of the activity of the radionuclides is fouls, and part 328, 734, 441 radiation level of limits exclusive use of provisions. Shit.